ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। हरि ओम्, salutations to all. So we are seeing now in the sixth canto the portion of Indra, Vritra, etc. got over. Now we are in a different section, continuing actually from the same sixth canto, earlier sixth chapter, where the Vamsha was given. If you remember, the sixth canto, we had Daksha Prajapati, and Daksha Prajapati was told by Brahmaji to take the creation forward. And Daksha Prajapati created 10,000 Haryashvas, sons, and Naradji met them at Narayan Sarovar and then gave them different analogies, and through which they got Vairagya, reflecting upon which they got Vairagya, and then they renounced the world. Then Daksha Prajapati created another 1,000 sons called Shavalashvas. They also followed the footsteps of their brothers and they also renounced the world. Now, Daksha Prajapati was very disappointed. He cursed Naradji that you will not get up, you will not have a permanent abode, you will keep roaming in the world. And Brahmaji then told him, don't get disheartened. And he had daughters. So Daksha Prajapati with his wife Asikni had 60 daughters. Now those 60 daughters, 10 are married to Yamaraj, 17 to Kashyapa, 27 to Soma or moon god, and 2 daughters each to Angira, Krashashva and Bhuta. There the description was given of the 10 daughters of Yamaraj, 10 wives of Yamaraj, and through them who are the children born. And in the same way, then the 2 wives of Bhuta, Angira, Krashashva, their children were described. Kashyap Rishi's 4 wives, their children were described. Further 10 wives, their children were described. And Kashyap and Danu. So Kashyap Rishi had 17 daughters married to him. Daksha Prajapati, 70 daughters were married. So Patangi, Yamini, Vinata and Kadru. These are 4. Then another 10 wives. Timi, Sarama, Surabhi, Tamra, Muni, Krodhavasha, Ila, Shurasa, Arishta and Kashta. 14. Then 15 is Danu, through which Danavas are born. 16 is the Aditi, through which the Devatas are born. And now 1 is left, is Diti, through whom the Daityas are born. So Danu, Danavas are born, Aditi, Devatas are born, and Diti, Daityas are born. So that way it becomes the 17 wives of Kashyap Rishi. So here in this chapter number 18, from there it is picked up again. So Shukdev ji says here that the 12 Adityas, they were named Vivaswan, Aryama, Pusha, Tvashta, Savita, Bhaga, Dhata, Vidhata, Varuna, Mitra, Shatru and Urukrama. Now these 12 Adityas, they are actually sons of Aditi and Kashyap Rishi, and they are also the presiding deities of the 12 months of our Hindu calendar. And the Adhik Mas, that's why when the Adhik Mas is there and there is no presiding deity for it, then Vishnu Bhagwan himself becomes the presiding deity of that. That's why it is called Purushottam Mas. So now it is said here that who are these descendants of these Adityas? So it is said these 12 Adityas, their wives and children are mentioned. So Savita marries Prishni and then three daughters, Savitri, Vyahriti and Trayi, and nine sons, Agnihotra, Pashu, Soma, Chaturmasya and Panchamahayajnas. See this what we do, no? The rituals, Panchamahayajna. So Deva Yajna, Pitra Yajna, Rishi Yajna, Manusha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Panchamahayajna. They are presiding deities of each who will give the results. Then Chaturmasya is the Chaturmasya Vrata which is done. Then there is this Soma Yajna which is done, Agnihotra which is done. So there are deities of all these who bless the Jiva or the Yajman with whatever the punya of that particular ritual which is done. Then, so we see Savitri, Vyahriti, Trai, all these. Now, you see here Savitri. Who is Savitri? So when we say the Gayatri mantra, when we do Gayatri Havan, then we say Gayatri Mavahayami, Savitri Mavahayami, Saraswati Mavahayami. So this Savitri is the deity presiding over the Gayatri mantra. Vyahriti is the deity presiding over the three mystical syllables Bhuhu, Bhuva, Suha. They are called Vyahritis. And what do they symbolize? The Bhu symbolizes the earth, Bhuaha the interspace, Suha the higher world, the heavens. So that way, then Trai, they indicate the subject of the Vedas. So Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda also they can indicate. Trai also can mean three types of mantras. So some will be prose, some will be poetry, some will be a combination. Like that, there are different meanings to the word Trai. So these three daughters were born, and the nine sons are born. So Agnihotra is supposed to be the daily ritual that one is supposed to do, morning, evening. So Surya and Indra and Prajapati are invoked through the Agnihotra. So twice it will be done. Then, so Pashu, so Agnihotra, then Pashu. Pashu is the presiding deity over specific sacrifices, animal sacrifices. Then Soma is the deity of the Soma Yajna. Then Chaturmasya is the presiding deity over the three sacrifices of the same name performed at the beginning of the 3 seasons of 4 months each. Then we have the Panchamahayajnas. So the 5 deities presiding over the great 5 daily sacrifices, which every Grihastha has to do, that we spoke about. Now, having said that, this is the children who are born to Savita and Prishni. Then Bhaga and Siddhi. So to them, Three sons are born: Mahima, Vibhu, and Prabhu, and a daughter named Ashisha. Then four wives of Dhata and Kuhu. Who are they? So Dhata has four wives. So Kuhu, Sinivali, Raka, and Anumati. You know, this Sinivali and Raka, they are the deities who were worshipped even during Saraswati Sindhu civilization time. Right now, they have found various things. This is all during the Vedic times, and all Purana literature also mentions, and people were worshipping. But Sinivali and Raka, etc., there are so many, what you call that, artifacts and some archaeological things they have found. Some documentaries, etc., also are there on that. So Dhata had four wives, and through them four sons are born: Sanyam, Darsha, Prataha, and Purnamasa. These are all vratas also. Purnamasa. So Darsha Purnamasatmane Namaha, it will come in Rudram also. So Purnamasa, Chaturmasyatmane, so Chaturmasya Vrata, Purnamasa Vrata, all these. So these are deities who will give the results. And that's why we should not think of these only as some, you know, mechanical rituals, meaningless rituals. What will happen by just chanting these mantras? There are deities of each of the vrata. That Ekadashi vrata also, there are deities for all the Ekadashis. And they will bless the jiva with the particular result. And we don't possibly see some of these things in the material life, in the sense that the benefits are not seen in a tangible way suddenly. Okay, because of this vrata, now this happened. Sometimes it is, understandable, sometimes it is not comprehensible. But the jiva is blessed with appropriate punya karma and the necessary purity of the mind, and externally also whatever some benefit has to come, whether it's in material prosperity or some relationship, some harmony, some warding away of some evil through whatever are the graha dosha, etc. All that will keep happening because there are deities who are there, and whoever does the vratas properly, they will get the benefit. Suppose there is some mistake also in that vrata, etc., the forgiveness that one seeks, and then one prays that please bless us with the full result of the vrata. So when it is done with that bhav, with that clarity, there are the deities, and we are not just doing, because today many things we bring it down only to gross level. That is the sad part, and that is the material outlook that people have. In the name of science, development, logic, rationality. I'm not saying one should not think in a scientific way or logical way, but one should not limit some of these spiritual sadhanas to only the physical level benefits. Now people are doing Ekadashi Vrat to detoxify their body, to increase the T cells in the body, to fight the cancerous cells, to reduce their, to control their whatever the blood sugar and diabetes and all that. That's actually a side benefit of that Ekadashi Vrat. When we worship the deity, when we worship Bhagavan, we do the niyam palan, we do the required amount of japa, live in a certain purity. It is to lift us away from body identification to higher levels of understanding who I am truly. That benefit, and also whatever I pray for the well-being of others and the world, etc., that is the benefit. So instead of lifting ourselves away from the body identification, going beyond jiva bhav, realizing our true self, we are pulling that vrata down to body level. Think about it. So these are all the deities. What is the proof, Swamiji? With proof, you want to follow the vrata and see the result, you will understand that this is the proof. And if there are upasanas which you want to do, then you can do, and then experience the blessings. And after a point, it is Shraddha in the Shastra, because how much proof can be given? Yesterday only I was saying about one reel. There's one particular scientist who has spoken about the Big Bang and the way by which the universe is expanding. So the Big Bang and the Big Crunch, and he was given the Nobel Prize in 2011. But there are flaws in his theory, which he also knows, and others have understood also. And then they were trying to figure out what are the flaws, how to overcome this, that. Now, 2025, the whole theory, he's found out certain things, and now he thinks that what he has spoken about the whole cosmos, possibly that whole theory can be maybe changed, modified, errors which are there in that, so something new can come up. Now you think about it, science itself is evolving over last few years and decades, and it will continue to evolve. There's nothing wrong with that. But the point is, based on certain thing, one is having a certain conclusion and thinking that is scientific. After some time, that only will get negated. Same thing happened with Stephen Hawking also. The hypothesis and the theory based on which he was given the doctorate, after he got the doctorate, after he did research and a few years, he said all that was wrong. Not all, but quite a few of it was. He disagreed with that. He said, no, that is old understanding. He came up with something new. So it is a process that will go on. This is something which is much more subtler, and one should have that clarity that these are certain things which the Vedas have said, people have benefited, have the Shraddha, and do what one can do to lift the vision from the gross to the subtle rather than bringing the subtle back to the gross. So now coming back to this, so Dhata had these 4 wives, and then through them the 4 sons are born. So it is said here, even the 4 wives, they have given details here that Kuhu is the presiding deity over the last night of a dark fortnight. Sinivali is the deity presiding over the 14th night of a dark fortnight. Raka, presiding deity over the last night of a bright fortnight. And Anumati, the deity presiding over the 14th night of a bright fortnight. They gave birth to Sanyam, presiding deity of dusk. Darsha, presiding over a last day of a dark fortnight. Then Pratah, presiding deity over the morning. And Purnamasa, presiding deity over the last day of a bright fortnight. So these are all deities, devatas. From Kashyap and Aditi, devatas, and further their children. What we say, 33 crore gods and all that. Some of the names are given here. That we should not think that, it's only 33 types. No doubt 33. So the word koti means types also, but we should not think there are only 33. So in that there are 12 Adityas. See, 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus. 8 Vasus was described already. 12 Adityas. And Rudras also have come earlier. And Indra and Brihaspati. Some places they say Indra and the Ashwini Kumars. So different classification. They are the main deities. Like see 12 Adityas, they are in the main 33. Now below those 12 Adityas, these are all there. These are the children. So like that there are for each of them 11 Rudras have so many below them. Ashtavasus have so many below them. So one should not think of them that only 33 are there. These are 33 main. Below them there will be so many others. They are responsible for different aspects of creation. So then going ahead, the fourth Aditya. So Vidhata, he through his wife Kriya gave birth to the 5 deities presiding over the sacred fires bearing the name of Purishya. Then the spouse of Varuna, the god of water, and the ninth son of Aditi was uh, Charshani, and of whom was reborn the sage Bhrigu. Bhrigu is mind-born son of Brahmaji, he is reborn to them. Now you see what comes next. Then the great yogi Valmiki, another son of Varuna and the celebrated author of Ramayana, sprang up. It is said from an ant hill. So Varuna and Charshani, to them Valmiki is born. That's why he is also called Varuni. Took birth from an ant hill, meaning what? It is not so. Valmika is ant hill. When he is born to Varuna and Charshani, then he is in a divine form. Then he is born on the earth to Indra Vamsha Prachetas, Brahmana Vamsha Prachetas. Then there's a drought, and then the family is into deep trouble, and then he gets into bad company, and then he starts looting and plundering and all that. And that is on the earth. And then he is um, transformed by some Puranas say Naradji, some Puranas say Sapta Rishis. It can be in different kalpas also the same thing has happened. So different times, different rishis are responsible for his transformation. And so he transforms from Ratnakar, he does tapasya, mara, 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 and then finally he becomes so still that until is made on him. And then he finally emerges from it, and so he is, because he emerges from anthill, he is called Valmiki. So this is that the divine form of Valmiki Rishi is this. Then who is born on the earth in Treta Yuga. So now that is given here. Then both Varuna and Mitra in Urvashi's presence discharge the semen in a pot, and then Agastya and Vasishta Rishi are born. They are also called Mitra Varuni because they are born to this Varuna and Mitra in Urvashi's presence. Now, so to Varuna, this Charshani, and in Urvashi's presence, these are the children born. Mitra also in Urvashi's presence, this Agastya and Vasishtha. And then Mitra with Revati gives birth to three sons, Utsarga, Arishta, and Pippalada. So who are these now? Yeah, they have not given details about this. These three, Utsarga, Arishta, and Pippala, not Pippalada, sorry. Pippala. Pippalada is another Rishi. Then Indra, along with Paulomi. She also called as Shachi. Gives rise to three sons. Gives birth to three sons. So Jayanta, Rishabha, and uh, Midhusha. So the Jayanta we know in Ramayana also it comes, he becomes a crow and he comes and attacks Sita ji, and then Bhagavan shoots one arrow and then his eye is blinded and all that. So that is Jayanta. So this is Indra, and through them the three sons Jayanta, Rishabha, and Midhushta, or is also called as Midhavan. Then from Upendra, who is this Upendra? Is Vaman Bhagavan. He is called Upa Indra because he is younger to Indra, Vaman Bhagavan. So Vaman Bhagavan, we know he took the form of a batuk, of a dwarf, and then he grew in size and he covered, and the Bali Raja's whole story comes. So what did he do? Urukrama or Vamana, along with this Kirti, gave birth to Brihat Shloka. Brihat Shloka. And from that Brihat Shloka, many sons sprang up through Saubhaga, his son. So this Brihat Shloka son Saubhaga, and through them many other sons. Now he says here, Shukadevji says that we shall recount later on in book 8 the distinguished achievements, excellences, deeds, valors of that high souled son of the sage Kashyapa, and how he descended on the material plane through Aditi. Now, having said this, this is all about the Adityas. Now, about Diti and the Daitya. So, Danu and Danavas he already explained. Aditi he only explained the 12 Adityas, and further now those their children are explained, because one of the characteristics of Purana is Vamshanucharita. So, the lineage will be given. So, here now coming to Diti. So, Kashyap Rishi and Diti. Yeah. Why this is also important? Because great devotees like Prahlada, Bali, etc. are also born in this one, and the next portion is connected to this. So through Kashyap Rishi and Diti, if you remember, you know, Diti had approached Kashyap Rishi in the evening time with a desire to procreate. Kashyap Rishi said, "Don't do now. Shivji and his Ganas are on the move in the evening, and this is not the time, this is the time to do sadhana." But she was overpowered with lust, and she forced Kashyap Rishi, and so he said the children who will be born will be demons, terrible demons, and two of them were born, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Now that detailing of that their story will come. Hiranyaksha has already come, Hiranyakashipu will come. Hiranyaksha, we saw already that Bhagwan killed him, Varaha avatar happened. Here is the portion where, after giving this description, it will come to that Diti is very disturbed because her two sons have been killed, the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So I will take that up a little later when it starts. As of now, just the names. So Diti had two sons, first Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu through Kashyap Rishi, and this Hiranyaksha was killed by Bhagwan Varaha. Then when Hiranyakashipu, he married this Kayadhu. Kayadhu is the name of Prahladji's mother. Who is she? Kayadhu is the daughter of Jambha, a descendant of Danu. So that is how Danavas and Daityas are then interconnected in that sense. They both have same father, Kashyap Rishi. Through Diti, the Daityas are born. Through Danu, the Danavas are born. And here within them also, then finally this Jambha, the descendant of Danu, her daughter is Kayadhu, and she marries Hiranyakashipu. They have four sons. So this sometimes we don't know. We only know Prahladji, but Prahladji had three brothers, proper three brothers. Who are they? Samhlada, Anuhlada, and Hlada. And the fourth one is Prahlada. Prahladji's three brothers are these: Samhlada, Anuhlada, and Hlada. And he has a daughter. Means they have a daughter. So Prahladji has a sister. Her name is Simhika. And the Simhika is married to Viprachitti, and so Rahu is born to them. Now Samhlada to Samhlada, Kriti is married, and Panchajana is born. To Hlada, Dhamani is married, and two sons, Vatapi and Ilvala, are born. So there's Vatapi and Ilvala. They are brothers, and So Agastya Muni becomes, so they have been troubling people and they eat away the Brahmanas and the sadhus and all that. And they, you know, do very weird things. So what will happen is this, Ilvala and Vatapi, they will call some Brahmana, and this Ilvala, so this Vatapi will kill Ilvala, cut him, mix him in the food, and feed it to the Brahmana. Now the Brahmana will eat, and then Vatapi will call Ilvala, come out. Sometimes Ilvala will do this and Vatapi will come out, killing that Brahmana. Then they will all eat the Brahmana. Some weird thing like that they do. So they try to do that with Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni is Mahasiddha Yogi. He came out properly killing this Vatapi. He went in, they killed him. Then he went inside this food when he was given. So they killed, so Vatapi is killing Ilvala and Ilvala becomes the food Agastya Muni has consumed. Now Vatapi calls out Ilvala. So instead of Ilvala coming out and Agastya Muni getting killed, he doesn't come out only because Agastya Muni digested, finished. He won't come out now. Some stories like that. I don't remember the exact details as of now. And then this Ilvala doesn't come out, then Vatapi also gets killed. So, see this. Agastya became Ilvala's guest, ate Vatapi in the form of a ram. So it is Vatapi, not Ilvala. So Vatapi is consumed by Agastya and then he doesn't come out and then Ilvala also is killed. So that is about Hlada and Dhamani and their sons. Then Anuhlada and Surya. To them two sons are born, Bashkala and Mahisha. And to Prahlada, Virochana is born. And to Virochana, Bali Maharaj is born. Bali Maharaj and Ashana gave rise to 100 sons headed by Banasura, and this Banasura is the one of the great devotees of Bhagavan Shiva. Very interesting it is, no? Even in this Daityas, Prahladji is a devotee, Bali is a devotee, Banasura is a devotee, which means to say that bhakti can happen in any species. It is not that only devatas can do bhakti. But yes, possibilities of bhakti in the Danavas, Daityas is much lesser because of their tendencies. So now when this is explained, now what happens? Shukdev ji also says that Diti and Kashyap Rishi, to them Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu are born, and then there are 49 Maruts also who are born to them. Because Diti worshipped Bhagavan Vishnu for 1 year, doing a Pumsavana Vrata, and then to them this 49 Maruts are born. Now, this Parikshit Raja, he has a question that what is the reason that these Maruts are called as Devatas? Because they are Devatas, but they are born to Diti. How did Indra turn them into Devatas? So see, that is the question that is asked. These Maruts, they don't have further children, so they remained issueless and were converted into Devatas by Indra. So now Parikshit Raja asked that question that how did Indra convert them from this Danavas, from Daityas to Devatas? What good offices did they render to him which made him convert them from Daityas into Devatas? Even these seers, means whoever is there, Parikshit addressing all these Brahmanas, they are also keen to know this. Therefore, please tell us that how did this happen? So Sutaji is continuing what Shukdev ji would have replied. So Sutaji says that Shukdev ji was very happy when this question was asked. He says that uh, he welcomed the question with a heart full of joy. The omniscient and the well-known sage Shuka, he spoke. So what did Shukdev ji say? So Shukdev ji says, now we are on shloka number 23. Hataputra Diti Shakra uh, पार्ष्णिर्ग्राहेण विष्णुना मन्युना शोकदीप्तेन ज्वलन्ति पर्यचिन्तयत्. So now this Diti, her children Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were killed by Bhagavan Vishnu because of Indra. Because Indra went to seek protection and all that. And so she was burning with rage. See that? Manyu means anger. Manyuna, with anger and grief, Shoka Deeptena Dvalanti, she was burning. And so, what did she think? That what should I do? That when will I have an undisturbed sleep? Having brought about the death of the cruel, hard hearted, and sinful Indra. He who seeks to hurt beings for the sake of his own body, which this is a very nice shloka, 25th one, we should remember this. त्रिमिविड्भस्म संज्ञासीद् यस्येषाभिहितस्य च भूतधुक् तत्कृते स्वार्थं किं वेद निरयो यतः. This body will become bhasma when it is burnt, or it will become food for the worms, when it is buried, or that of excrement if it is exposed and devoured by carnivorous beings like dogs and jackals, vultures and crows. For that body, one who is so attached to that body, and for that body one does adharma and tries to harm others, then what can be said of that deluded fool? That is what now Diti is going to do. So the point here is this body is perishable. Three methods are given here by which either it will become ash, or it will become worms, or it will become just dead rotten matter. What is the point of compromising with dharma, entertaining negative thoughts, the thoughts of hurting others, harming others, disturbing them for this body? So that's why he says here that he who seeks to hurt other beings for the sake of his own body, is he even alive to the highest interest? Meaning this body can be used for mukti, and then one is going to use it for such petty things to hurt and harm others. Meaning the answer is no, that person is not alive to those higher possibilities. For damnation follows from such hostility to other beings, because the result will be one goes to hell. आशासनस्य तस्येदं ध्रुवम् उन्नद्ध चेतसः मद शोषक इंद्रस्य भूयाद्येन सुतो हिमे. Look at this. If you read this shloka, one will think that this Indra is such a wicked fellow. What is written here? See, this is Diti's thinking. Okay, let me devise some means whereby a son may be born to me that may quell the pride of this aforesaid Indra, who looks upon this perishable body as everlasting and whose mind knows no restraint. Indra is an indulgent fellow. Indra's mind knows no restraint. And so Diti is thinking that way. With this idea, she tries to go on pleasing Kashyap Rishi. Now see that. Kashyap Rishi, see here, If you see the 24th shloka also, in that so much more about Indra is said. Bhratrahantaram Indriyaramam Ulbanam Aklinna Hridayam Papam Ghatayitva Shaye Sukham. These are all things which are said about this Indra. Cruel, hard-hearted, sinful, engaged in the revelation, in sense enjoyment, reveling in sense enjoyment. That Indra has to be killed. And so she starts doing seva of Kashyap Rishi with the desire to get a boon from him for killing Indra. Have a child who will then kill Indra. So she constantly starts pleasing her husband Kashyap Rishi through service, affection, humility, self-control. Knowing as she did the heart of her husband, she captivated his mind by her supreme devotion, charming and sweet words, winsome smiles, and sidelong glances. Just imagine, even a great rishi like Kashyap Rishi can get deluded. Now here you see that. Thus infatuated by that clever lady. Evam striya jadi bhuto, that's the word used there. Jadi bhuto means, jada means inert. But he is not thinking. Meaning he is not aware of her intention. He is taking it at face value only. Okay, she is serving with humility, devotion, and he is very pleased. Evam striya jadi bhuto vidwan api vidagdhaya. See what is written here. Infatuated by that clever lady and powerless, the sage, though learned, what did he say? Badham ityaha vivasho natat chitram hi yoshiti. He said, all right, may your wish be granted. Such stupefaction of men by a woman through her devoted conduct indeed is not to be wondered at. That Diti, served Kashyap Rishi with this mindset, and then Kashyap Rishi also got carried away. There is no wonder, Shukadevji says. विलोक्यै कांतभूतानि भूतान्यादौ प्रजापतिः स्त्रियं चक्रे स्वदेहार्धं यया पुंसां मतिर्हता. Now see here. Brahmaji, he saw that in the beginning of the creation, men were absolutely unattached. They don't have sense desires, and they don't want to take the creation forward. So what did Brahmaji do? He converted from his body, one half of his body, he produced women. So it is said right side men, left side women. He created from his body. So finding men absolutely unattached at the dawn of creation, Brahma, the Lord of created beings, converted one half of his body into the fair gender. And what did they do? Striyam chakre swadeharjam yaya pumsam matirharta. Now women suddenly will say that what is this? Why it is said like this, that women robbed men of their judgment. And one of the reasons why grahastha is prescribed for general masses is because man is created from one half of the body, woman is created from the other half, and so both of them come together to complete and complement each other. Because the prakriti of both of them is different. This is not about equality. If you talk about gender equality, then this is equality in that sense, because one half man is born, one half woman is born, and then they must come together and grow together, walking the path of dharma. So there is no gender inequality in that sense, because they are born from half, and so they come together. But in the nature of theirs, the description is given that the prakriti of both of them is different. And so it is said here that in general this is an observation that men will get very easily flattered with this. He couldn't recognize also the intention with which this Diti is serving him. That's what it means here. And so, what happened? एवं शुश्रित एवं शुश्रूषितस्तात भगवान कश्यप स्त्रिया प्रहस्य परम प्रीतो दितिमाह भिनंद्य च. So when he was being served in this way, that lady Diti served Kashyap Rishi. Kashyap Rishi was very highly pleased, and welcoming her, he smiled, he laughed, and he spoke. Kashyapa uvacha varam varaya vamero vamoru प्रीतस्ते हमनिंदिते स्त्रिया भर्तरि सुप्रीते कः काम इह चागमः. See, Kashyap Rishi also is a great rishi. The very word Kashyap means the one who is a seer. Pashyak. If you reverse Kashyap, you will get Pashyak. Pashyak means one who is identified with the senses and who revels in the world of sense enjoyments. But one who has turned the senses within and come to realize that my nature is Brahman, that person is called Kashyap. Even that great Kashyap Rishi, what happened to him? He said, I am very pleased with you. And when the husband is fully pleased, what desire of a woman remains unattainable here as well as hereafter? Patirev hi narinam daivatam paramam smritam manasa sarvabhutanam vasudeva shriyapatihi. The husband alone has been declared to be the supreme deity for women, although Lord Vasudeva, dwelling in the mind of all the created beings, is the supreme deity. It is the said Lord alone who is worshipped by men in the guise of various divinities diversely conceived under different names, Indra and so on. Meaning through the worship of Devatas also one is worshipping Vasudeva only finally, because that is the power of Bhagavan only that manifests through the Devatas. And then all that we saw earlier, the Chaturmasya, Darsha Purnamasa, Savitri, Vyahriti, all these, they all are able to bless the seeker because of the power of Bhagavan Vishnu. So even if one is propitiating them, the Devatas or the Devis, one is finally, the worship reaches Bhagavan only. And so please remember this one thing when it is said here that the husband alone has been declared to be the supreme deity for women. Which type of a husband? The person who is following dharma. One. Two, the point is everyone needs an altar of surrender at every stage of life. So in the brahmacharya stage, it will be the guru, the guru patni, meaning the guru mata. It will be Ishvara, Shastra, where one surrenders, man or woman, whoever is studying. Then Grihasthashram, the Panchamaha Yajnas the man is supposed to do, so man surrenders there. Not that a woman cannot do sadhana, woman can also do the sadhana, but what is the bhav? So the bhav is the man and woman, both of them look at each other as divine. Which is why in the marriage samskar, when it is done, Vivah samskar, the man is considered as a Vishnu and woman is considered as the Lakshmi. And both have to look at each other as divine. To realize their divine nature is the main purpose. By walking the path of dharma, doing the duties towards oneself, the family, the pitru, the society and all that, purify the mind. And then at some point renounce the world, take up sannyas. So that is brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So when one takes a vanaprastha and sannyas, then the full time one dedicates towards Bhagavan. And so each stage of life, there is some altar of surrender for both man and woman. The altar may be different in certain contexts, but the point is of surrender. And so here he says that those who have done, the women who have done this kind of service of the husband, now remember, Diti is not serving him with the bhav that I'm serving the husband. She is doing it with the attitude of pleasing him to get a boon whereby she can avenge the death of her sons. That is her malicious intent. Um, Here, he also goes ahead to say that women devoted to their husband and desirous of blessedness worship their husband as an image of God, the soul of the universe, with undivided loyalty. The bhav is that I am worshipping Bhagwan. So the attention is not on the individual as the husband, his qualities, his achievements. The focus is on Bhagwan. I am serving Bhagwan through this. If that is understood, same thing we do when we say Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, or when we say that whichever relationship one has with Bhagwan, one is worshipping through that relationship, one is worshipping Bhagwan, and whatever bhav one is having towards one's Ishta Devata can also get strengthened through that. Ki that same Ishta Devata of mine is appearing as this husband, as this child, as this sibling, what you call that, in-laws or friends, whoever. The bhav is to see that same Ishta Devata in everybody. So don't think that, oh, why this is happening, only women have to worship men. What about men? They also have to worship. They also will have Ishta Devata. They will also see divine in all of them. At some point in time when it becomes, at some point in time when this exploitation has happened, this gender is greater, that gender is lesser, that is human ego's problem. That one should anyway come out of that. One should not encourage that gender exploitation in any ways. So here the point is this: the focus is not on the person, focus is on Bhagwan. Obviously, if somebody is abusive, somebody is exploiting, then one fights it out. One doesn't give in to that, saying, I am seeing God even in that. That our Shastra is very clearly saying active resistance to evil is the dharma that one has. One has to protect this body, one has to protect one's mind also, so that one can use it well to realize the truth. So devoutly worshipped by you, O blessed one, with such God consciousness, I shall forthwith accomplish your desired object. He is thinking she is worshipping with this bhav. Look at his mind. Kashyap Rishi is thinking nothing wrong, but Diti is having something else in her mind. So when he asks her, now you ask, what is the boon? What do you want? So Diti says, Diti uvacha, Varado yadi me brahman, putram indrahanam rane, amrityum mritaputraham yena me ghatitau sutau. See, this is the boon that she has asked. If you are very pleased with me, then I who have lost my sons, Ghatitau Sutau. What am I seeking? I am seeking from you an immortal son. Amrityum, I am asking. What will they do? What will that son do? Indrahanam, Indrahanam, one who will kill Indra. Why? Because Mritaputraham yena ghatitau sutau. Because Indra has caused the death of his sons through Bhagavan Vishnu. So here now, two words are important. Diti asked Indrahanam and Amrityum. In her mind, the word Indrahanam means to kill Indra, and Amrityum means who will be immortal. But this Sanskrit language has different other meanings also. So Indrahanam means the follower of Indra, and Amrityum can also mean a Devata. Not a Devata, sorry. So this is where it is. The difference of thinking and language. So this is Um, you will see now the meaning that I'm saying. I will come to that in some time once we understand this particular context. Because when she asked about a son who can kill Indra, Indra also is the son of Kashyap Rishi only through Aditya, through Aditi. Now he is in a dilemma. कि, अरे, what has happened now? Kashyap Rishi becomes very sad. Nishamya tadvacho vipro vimana paryatapyata. Aho adharma sumahan adya me samupasthita. Now this great adharma has now befallen me. What I was not able to see so clearly, it was in front of me, but I couldn't see how I got deluded. Now Kashyap Rishi is repenting. Why? Because he is in a dilemma. Because he said, ask and I will bless you. So if he doesn't bless her with that, the boon will not get fulfilled. Meaning his word will be broken. That is adharma. And if he says, okay, I bless you with that, then he is only ordering the, meaning he only is blessing her with a boon whereby the son who will be born will kill Indra, who is his own son. So now he wonders, he says, Arey, what a great sin has happened now. Aho adya Indriya Ramo Yoshin Mayyeha Mayaya Grihita Cheta Kripanaha Patishye Narake Dhruvam. He says, I will definitely fall into hell. Why? Because my mind was caught in the grip of this gratification of the senses, and Bhagavan's Maya has trapped me through this service that Diti has rendered in the form of a woman. The Lord's Maya has deluded. I couldn't see this coming, and now I'm going to fall to hell for sure. What fault is there of a woman who has but followed her own nature in this matter? He says, why should I blame her? She has followed her own nature. It is in her mind that she wanted to do this, and she had that particular intent. But he says, all he takes blame upon himself. He says, fie upon me, ignorant that I am, alas of my own real interest, that I have not been able to conquer my mind. Dhing mam bata budham swarte yadaham tu ajitendriya. Think about it. Kashyap Rishi saying he is Ajitendriya. What to talk about any of us then? How our mind will be deluded? If a great Rishi like Kashyap Rishi's mind also gets carried away, then what to talk about somebody else? Sharat Padmotsavam Vaktram Vachascha Shravanamritam Hridayam Kshuradharabham Strinam Ko Veda Cheshtitam. Now, the face of women is blooming like an autumnal lotus, and their speech is nectar to the ears, while their heart is cruel as the blade of a razor. Who can know their ways? Now, again, please remember, this is not some. Of course, there are great sadhus, I mean, there are great sadhuis, bhaktas, no doubt. But there are women like this also. Manthara is there, Kaikeyi is there, this Diti is there. What to do? Same way in men also, there will be both types. But in general, one will see that this is how the woman sometimes will lure the man to get some benefit, and the man is so unaware, ignorant, he is getting carried away, and then finally he comes to know, hey, this is what happened. Think about that. Even in Kaikeyi's situation, same thing is the thing, right? So Bharat Raja went with such great enthusiasm to tell her that Ram will become the prince tomorrow, prince regent and all that, and this mantra has created all the instigation in the mind of Kaikeyi, and he didn't see it coming. Only he trusted her when she saved his life, and then he gave her two boons that time, and she said, I will ask you at the appropriate time. And now this time when the crowning has to happen, then she is asking. He is again caught unaware, no idea, only that this is what will happen. One may say finally, like how Kashyap Rishi also saying, it is Bhagwan's deluding Maya only that has taken grip of me. And that deluding Maya can take a grip through so many ways. through money, through power, through position, a lot of ways. We saw earlier, no, that Indra did not get up when Brihaspati came. That is also Bhagwan deluding Maya only. He then realized when Brihaspati left, he realized, "Arey, what a blunder have I done." So one should see it in the big picture. Otherwise, one will think, Hindu scriptures are anti-women and they portray women so badly. Arey, you see the men also that way, how the deluding Maya of Bhagwan deludes both. One should not be, you know, selective in one's approach and only choose what fits one's agenda. If you want to prove something, then you take up only that much and then you want to push that agenda. See the big picture clearly. So in this context, when he says this, some of this, when you read, this notion will spring in the mind that these women are being condemned for no reason. But this context one should remember. So none is truly loved of women who have their mind fixed on the object of their desire. Which again is applicable to man also. When the desire takes possession of somebody, that person just loses all control. Think about it. What has happened? Mahabharat war, did it not happen because of what? Dhritarashtra's attachment. My son only should be the king. My son only should have the whole kingdom. Arey bhai sahab. You should have protected your son by ensuring that the Pandavas get at least those 5 villages. Then let your son be the king. Finished. He didn't do that duty because that desire has possessed him. Gone. Now full Mahabharat war happened. So like that here it has happened. So he says none is truly beloved of women who have their mind fixed on the object of their own desire. Nahi kaschit priyastrinam anjasa swashishatmanam patim putram bhrataram va ghnantyarthe ghatayanti cha. Terrific. He says to serve their own end, they murder or cause to be murdered their own husband, son, and brother. This is him thinking, Kashyap Rishi. That happens in the world also with men. I'm saying all this just to clarify because otherwise you read this portion and everybody will be up in arms saying it is Hindu scriptures and Bhagavatam is anti-women and burn them. How many men have killed their own fathers or not for kingdom? Why? The desire has possessed. What did Ravana do? He captured Sita ji, no? For what? Because the desire has possessed him. And his own family members, everybody died because of that. All the men, this Kumbhakarna and Meghnad and Akshakumar, Prahasta, so many of them died all because of him. And he also died finally. Because that desire is so overpowering. So here it is in this context, so he says, my plighted word that I shall confer the boon of her choice should not prove untrue, and Indra too does not deserve death. Now what to do now? Vadham narhati cha indropi tatredam upakalpate. Under such circumstances, the expedient that I have hit upon is quite in the fitness of things. So now he thinks, what is the way out? That is where the Sanskrit aspect comes now. So Kashyapa spoke, little angrily he spoke, condemning himself at the same time, meaning he is not telling her anything. This is his thinking in his head, but he holds himself responsible, saying, I was so naive and I did not realize I don't have control on my senses, and then I got carried away by this seva that she has done. So Kashyap Rishi gives the boon. What does he say? Putraste bhavita bhadre indraha deva bandhavaha samvatsaram vratamidam yadyanjo dharayishyasi. So a son will be born to you, O blessed one, who will slay Indra if you will duly observe this vow for a year, but who will prove to be a friend of the gods if it is not properly observed. So the vow has to be followed properly without compromising. If it is followed, then the son will be born who will kill Indra. And if it is not followed properly, the son will be born who will become friend to the Devatas. So now what is the point? What she had asked now, Indra Hanam and Amrityum, immortal son who will kill Indra. That Amrityum is Devatas. I said Danavas earlier, that was my mistake. Amrityum, because Mrityu, Martya Loka, so the human body is perishable. The Devatas are called Amaras, means they are immortal. So this Amrityu means Devatas. And Indrahanam means not just slayer of Indra, follower of Indra. So the words also have a play. Now Kashyap Rishi, what did he do? He put the ball in the court of Diti. That if this Diti follows the Vrata properly, then the son will be born who will kill Indra. If she doesn't follow, the son will be follower of Devatas. Meaning the son will become Devata. Now what happens? Diti says, I will definitely observe the Vrat. Diti Ruvacha. Dharayishye vratam brahman bruhi karyani yani me yani cheha nishiddhani na vratam gnanti yani tu. Says, you please tell me, I will follow the vrata. You tell me what are the do's and the don'ts. Karyani and nishiddhani. What is supposed to be done and what is not supposed to be done. Which if I follow, the vrata is then done properly. You please tell me about that. So this vrata is called Pumsavana vrata. And the purpose of doing this is what? If she worships Bhagavan Vishnu, her mind will also get purified. So he gave a solution whereby both the things will be proper. Her son also, his son Indra also may not get killed, and he will also not have the the sin of not keeping up his word. And the solution he gave is good for her also, that if she does the vrata, her mind will get purified and her desire to kill Indra also may go, because she is worshipping Bhagavan Vishnu. So what a unique solution he came up with, you see. Now we will see in the next class what is that vrata that he gave her and what happened as a result of that. Any questions for today? Okay. Mangala.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी मंगल आरती पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की, मंगल आरती मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। There's some question here in the comments. Why were animal sacrifices practiced in those times? See, animal sacrifices are done in a very limited context to please certain devatas. So certain devatas will get pleased by certain types of offerings, and to get those blessings they are practicing those things, but there will be a consequence of that also. Negative consequence of that also will come. Like if you remember in the earlier cantos that the story of Prachin Barhi Raja has come, where he was doing animal sacrifices to please the devatas, get the blessings and all that, and Naradji finally comes to him and Naradji tells him that, you know, you are doing all this and killing so many animals, they all are waiting for you. When you come, they will take revenge. And he tells him about the whole story. Through the example of a story, he tells him about the limitations of karma and the karma phala and what is bandhan and how to get mukti. That story of the jiva, you know, in the Bhavaatavi, in that forest, one is lost and all that. So, human being has that tendency to get benefits, wants benefits, and so those deities and the devatas through whom if they will get benefit, they are doing this tamasic form of offering, and Gita Bhagavan clearly says that is all tamasic form of worship, and one should not engage in that. So that's why it even at that point in time, it was not a mainstream activity that lots of animals are being killed. No. Certain activities, certain rituals, they are doing that to please the devatas, to get their blessings and all that. And there also they have to incur the, like how we have medicine ka side effects, this also animal sacrifices ka negative karmic consequences come. And so when people understood more and more of that, slowly the animal sacrifice part has been replaced with the Namasmaran, Sankirtan, Puja, Japa, all those other sadhanas have taken over more importance. And so today we don't do that much. Yes, in some places there are people who are still doing it, and they follow a different tradition of Tantra, etc. And they want to do it, they are doing it. But Kalika Puran, Bhagavad Gita, all of them are very clear ki don't do. And that's the lowest form of worship. And that will also harm you. But many times people are doing it also to eat, because they want to eat that type of a food and that type of creatures. And so then they are doing it in the name of spiritual ritual, they are just justifying their tongue. So obviously all that will bring karmic results also. So it is not necessary and it need not be done at all. It can be without that also one can worship Bhagwan. And we should also know that certain types of people will need certain types of things to be done. Like those who are sattvic, they want to realize the truth, they want to use the sattvic methods to realize the truth. But some of them who are like Kshatriyas, they need to cut, they need to kill, that is their blood, and if they are not familiar with this process, they cannot protect the country. So they need to cut, they need to kill, they need to fight, they need to destroy in a certain way where they get trained to do it for the sake of protection. So that's why some places the hunting etc. will be done, because the Kshatriya Swabhav requires that type of a nurturing. Then only they will be able to fight the enemy, kill the enemy when required. All that can happen only then. So some of their worship also will include some of these things where an animal has to be killed. So there are different reasons why certain things are done. We cannot have one uniform thing that everybody will follow only that. It will not work because the temperaments of human beings are all different. But having said that, there is no justification. As much one can follow ahimsa, that much one should follow. As per adhikara, what needs to be done should be done. And even in Kshatriyas, there are Kshatriyas who do other forms of worship which doesn't involve animal sacrifices. So many different reasons. Once we understand, then we make wise choices. Hari Om.